I'm not gonna come here and tell you you cannot afford to live in South Africa. That's not what I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you you can actually try have a life in South Africa. I mean,
Hello, my name is Venji and welcome to my channel.
Hi, if you're seeing my face for the first time, consider subscribing. My name is Jovenchi K. I do lifestyle and travel videos. I make videos on Instagram and on YouTube, but this is my major platform. I've been living in South Africa for 3 years. It's gonna be 3 years next month, if not August, between those two. And I'm originally Tanzanian, and I'll be sharing you guys my experiences in terms of cost of living this country, how expensive is South Africa as a country, but I'm also gonna be giving my experience based on the capital cities. So basically, I live in Pretoria, but I live in Joburg. I study in Joburg, so my costs are gonna be based on the capitals, but I'm sure if you're gonna be moving to a smaller town like Hogsburg, you're probably gonna be cutting down some of the expenses or majority of them. So let's dive in today's video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, unasubiri nini? But if you haven't liked this video yet to this point, I'm confused. Why are you here? Why are you here? Thank you so much, and let's enjoy the video. So the way I'm going to be explaining the cost of living in South Africa, I'm going to categorize it into different categories. I'm going to categorize it into transportation. I'm going to categorize it to groceries and food. I'm going to categorize it to self-care, I'm going to also put it in terms of entertainment as well, which includes restaurants, clubs, wine, and all other things going to fall under that category. However, I will not be talking about accommodation because I'm planning one more video about accommodation. Plus, if you haven't watched my video where I talked about how you can get accommodation in South Africa, different prices for different types, please, I'm going to leave a link here and you can check that out. But I'm also going to be doing one more video where in that video I'll cover things like house Wi-Fi, utilities, how much they cost in South Africa. So let's dive in and go to the first part, which is self-care. Guys, where to cut your hair, how much it costs. For the girls, is to how to braid your hair, where to braid your hair, and how much it costs. So for the guys, I'm gonna say you can get your hair done from around 50 rand to 180 or 250, depends where you're getting your hair done. There are a lot of salons in the malls, but if you're in Pretoria, please, I'm gonna hook you up to the best barber in Pretoria, and it's called Bezo. Is the owner of Iconic Barbers, and he does my hair for 150, but he does powder. It's a whole mess. It's just amazing for 150, but you could get your hair done for 50 rand. And I would say you should look for salons that are near student areas. So Hatfield, Auckland Park, Braamfontein, those are the places that I would suggest you to look for a cheaper or affordable price, if I may say. The other thing I'm going to talk about your health. I'm going to talk about medical aids. Medical aids are something that are very popular here. It's not really very popular in my country, but you can get medical aid from 500 to 1,000 rand a month. There are a lot of providers for medical aid or medical schemes that you could check on. I'm going to put a link on some of those in the description box, so be aware to check for more information about that. But you can also have a hospital plan, which is cheaper but also gives you savings. It has a saving plan on seeing your general practitioner. So medical aid is important, but if you're working if you're employed, you probably will get that from your employee as an employee benefit. Some of the offices provide medical aids, but for me as a student, it cost me 4,000 rand for medical aid a month. A year. Like a full academic year. It's a student plan by Momentum. I would really recommend Momentum. I'm not sure about their prices in detail for adults, like a premium member, but as a student, I really recommend them. The thing I'm going to talk about transportation. So for example, for me, I use Uber or Taxify and the Rea Vaya bus service in Johannesburg when I go to university. The Rea Vaya bus service has different routes around Johannesburg, and for me, I use it from the park station to go to the university. And if I went 5 times a week every day, I would spend approximately 220 or 250 max rands a month for transportation with buses. But with Uber, I spend over 1,500 a month, could be, or more on Uber every month. But you have other options that you could use of, because for me I use Uber twice. I use Uber coming from the Gautrain to my place, because the place where I am, there's no any public transport that comes here direct. I either have to go to Pretoria city center, then come here, so it's a whole other mess. Okay, so that's it. But there are different other services that you could use. As I said, you could use UFI, you could use the taxi, which is the public bus. They're called taxis, and the taxis are between 8 Rand and 15 Rand. One trip, you need to have the knowledge of the routes prior, and also the other thing to note, when you go to them, you need to have your change right, because the system is different here. You know, in my country we have conductors which collect money in changes. Here they don't have conductors, so you have to carry your money and then contribute it together and give the driver. So you need to have your change right. You have to have your money in exact fare that is needed. So I'm not sure how that system is with you. The other thing with transportation, I would like to tell you to avoid the meter taxi people. These taxis they work as Ubers and Taxify, but they're unofficial. So you have to negotiate the price and stuff. So you should really avoid them, because most of the time it's not safe, I'm gonna say, because majority of the time you don't know these people and you can't hold them accountable at any point in case anything happens, compared to Uber and Taxify, where the system has the number of the driver and everything. Please let me know in your country if you have Uber and Taxify, and how are the prices difference between Uber and Taxify, because here Uber is a bit higher than Taxify when it comes to prices, but there have been less incidences of any inconveniences with Uber compared to Taxify, if you get what I'm saying. And also, to add on transportation, you could also buy your own car. South Africa, you can get a car in installment if you have your papers right in terms of your finances. So if you're planning to stay here for 4 years, it's worth it, because you're going to buy a car for 2,000 up to 2,000 Rand a month. You could get that cheap. Or something that you need to note, if you have a car, you need to pay for parking, which is 8 Rand in malls to 10 Rand. It depends on what mall you're going to. So buying a car could also be one of the something that you can think of if you're staying here for longer and you have the sources of income and you need a car to move as often as possible. I'm going to talk about is clothes or shopping for your wardrobe. So basically, South Africa has a lot of options. It has Zara, it has H&M, Factory, Cotton On, Versace, Gucci. I mean, you name it. You name it. So all of those options are here in South Africa. But I'm going to say the cheaper ones are Mr. Price. There's also Ackerman, which is it's supposed to be cheaper than Mr. Price. But I've never been there. I've been there once. I didn't like the quality of the things personally. But Mr. Price is the go-to shop. They have things like, I'm just gonna put some of their work here so that you can see the prices, but the things are very cheap, very affordable, and they're also durable for women. But for men, I think their quality you don't have to wash them many times. But I recommend H&M. I go to H&M when they have a sale. I would love to make H&M my official store, but I got no money. But H&M have very good stuff as well, but also Cotton On and Factory. So usually end of the month there's always a sale, so you should go during that time because they're always very good sales. Apart from that one, other thing I'm going to talk about is data. Our life in 2020, you are watching me through your phone, your tablet, your TV, through data. So that is a bit expensive. So if you are staying in your house, I would recommend you to get a Wi-Fi router, which is around between 300 to 800, so you can get it uncapped or not uncapped, that depends on you. But uncapped, unlimited Wi-Fi is around 700, yeah. But also with internet, you need to know the tricks and hacks. So I'm not sure how I can tell you this because I don't know what internet you're using, but when you live in South Africa for more than a month, you're gonna find out there's cheaper ways to get your data cheaper. So for me, I buy 1 GB with my bank card, which is 19 Rand a day. But I don't do that anymore because I'm staying at home now. But when I usually went to campus, I did buy that one. But you can also, the same data, you can buy it for 120 for a week, for like unlimited till it ends. 1 GB for 129 Rand, which to me, I think is very expensive. The last thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to be talking about entertainment, and I'm going to be covering restaurants and clubs. So South Africa, I would say they have a lot of restaurants, so you're spoiled of choices. They have a lot of clubs as well, so it really depends how much you're willing to spend. So for example, you could go to a restaurant where you can have a decent lunch. I'm gonna say, for example, for one person you could have a glass of wine, which goes for 45 Rand in a restaurant, and your meal, maybe your pasta could go for 100 Rand, or you could have steak, which could go for 150 Rand with a side. So 200 Rand, you could have a decent lunch date or dinner date for one person. But as well, I'm going to talk about clubs. So with clubs, you have a choice if you want to go to a club that you're going to pay entrance, or you want to go to a club that you're not going to be paying entrance. So big clubs like Taboo, things like that need reservation and you need to pay for your entrance, but there are also a lot of other options that you don't need to pay for entrances. So I would say you could go places like Millville, or Hartfield. There are places that you're going to find a lot of places that you don't have to pay. But just be aware you need to wear official shoes. Like most of the places or clubs won't allow you to go in with sandals. I mean, I don't know why, but I've fought a few fights because of this. Not like physical, verbal. But yeah, what I was saying, there are a lot of options for going to clubs without paying. A bottle of wine would go for 120 Rand, in clubs, but like in a bar. And maybe a cocktail would go for 80 Rand, 70 Rand, maximum 90 Rand. That's like the most expensive cocktail, which I haven't drank yet. I'm gonna also put in the link in the description for prices for bottles of vodka or Ciroc or whatsoever, in different clubs that I recommend to go. Haven't been to many, I must say, but I'm gonna share some of the things in my description box below. For beer, if you go to a bottle store, I can say you can buy an imported beer for 15 Rand, a local beer like a 0.5 liter for 12 Rand. A bottle of wine could be for 45 Rand. You could get cheaper wines, but you could also get bottles of wine from 70 Rand as well. Depends where you're shopping, what wine you're shopping. Like sparkling wine is more expensive than normal wine, but I mean, South Africa has a lot of choices in terms of wine, so I would suggest you to try South African wine when you're here. Please let me know in the comment section, what's the difference between South Africa so far with your country? Do you think it's expensive living in South Africa compared to in your country that you're watching me from right now, which I would love to know as well. But otherwise, thank you so much guys for watching me this far. Thank you so much for being with me so far. We are almost at 4,000 subscribers. It's just I'm just very happy. I'm very happy guys. Thank you very much for everybody that joined once again. See you next time. My name is Javenchike.